Let's start with the prayers. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Dishitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So since Ram Navami is coming up on April 16th, I thought of sharing some lessons that we can learn from Ramayana. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I come millennium after millennium to deliver the pious, to annihilate the demons and to re-establish dharma. But Prabhupada says that Krishna does not need to come to kill the demons. He can give a little heart attack to the demon and the demon will be killed. He also doesn't need to come to deliver the pious, because the pious devotees are always engaged in hearing and chanting, and by the process of devotional service they are already delivered. So mainly the Lord comes down in the material world to have loving reciprocation with his devotees. Also, the Lord has a very important task in Kali Yuga, that we don't spend all of our time on Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram. We have time to open the book Ramayana. So something that Lord Ram could have done straight. In one moment, he could have popped off all the 10 heads of Ravan. Instead of that, he builds this amazing Leela, where Lord Ram is getting exiled to the forest for 14 years. Ravan is kidnapping Sita. Ram is building a bridge across the ocean with the help of the monkeys. And then with the monkey army, Ram is fighting with Ravan. So this whole big Leela is created to give us this Ramayana, which is filled with adventure, tragedy, comedy, romance, drama, all that we are looking for in a movie. But the difference between Ramayana and an ordinary movie is that Ramayana, because it relates to the activities of Lord Ram, it is all purifying. Shinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayanthastohe Badrani Vidunoti Suratsatam. When we hear the pastimes of the Lord, they are all purifying. They remove all material desires from the heart of the devotee, remove all abhadras, all anarthas from our heart. In Kali Yuga, demons are residing within our heart. We say that in Satya Yuga, the divine and demonic personalities, they were on different planets. In Treta Yuga, they were in different countries. In Dwapar Yuga, they were in the same family. But in Kali Yuga, the divine and demonic qualities are within the same person. So when we hear about Lord Ram's activities, it's destroying the demons within our heart, the demons of lust, anger, greed, like that. And Krishna Katha, it relieves all our sinful reactions. Just sitting in the Krishna Katha, it's destroying all our pap, karma from past. It's so joyful way. Very easily we are reducing our pap karma that we had to suffer so much for. We are very easily letting it go. Just sitting in the class and hearing about Lord's pastimes. So Lord Ram has hidden many life lessons in Ramayana. These pastimes of Lord can be understood at multiple levels. For example, Lord Ram being sent to exile in the forest for 14 years. How we can understand it. So the first perspective of these pastimes is Lord wants to teach us a lesson. So here is a lesson. In Ayodhya, we know Dashrath Maharaj has 3 queens, primary queens. We have Kaushalya, who is the mother of Lord Ram. We have Sumitra, as the mother of Lakshman and Shatrughan. And we have Kaikeyi, who is the mother of Bharat. Now, Kaikeyi is the youngest and most beautiful queen of Dashrath Maharaj. She is the most favorite. There is another character called Manthara, who is a hunchback woman, who is a maid servant of Kaikeyi. Now, because of her hunchback, people would always joke upon her, tease her. But since the time she became the maid servant of Kaikeyi, who is the king's favorite queen, everybody started respecting her. So, when this Manthara found out that Lord Ram is going to be crowned as the king, she was thinking, if Lord Ram becomes the king, which means that Kaushalya, Ram's mother, will become the principal queen. Which means that this would degrade Kaikeyi's position, and that would mean that it would degrade my position. because I am the maid servant of Kekai. So now people will start again laughing at me and teasing me because of my hunchback. That's what she was thinking. So Manthara, she had a hidden agenda. She went to Kekai and started corrupting her mind. Now Kekai was very simple-hearted, and she had a lot of love for Ram and Sita. She loved them like their own children, her own children, and she gifted them her beautiful palace. You know, she had the most beautiful palace in Ayodhya, and she gifted them her beautiful palace when they got married. So she had a lot of love for Ram and Sita. But when Manthara came to her, see, Manthara cooked up a story. You know, she said, you know, when Ram becomes a king, Kaushalya will become the Rajmata, and you will have to become the maid servant of Kekai. You will have to sit at her feet and do services for her. And Ram will somehow have Bharat get arrested and may even execute him. So she's cooking up all this story which has no basis. But just hearing these things from Manthara, Kaushalya's heart, this Kekai's heart got changed. The feelings of envy, greed, and the power, the desire for power arose in her. And so we know that the next thing that happened was Kekai went to Dashrath and asked for those two boons, that you send Lord Ram to the forest and you make my son the king of Ayodhya. So this one incident created so much havoc in Ayodhya that, you know, Dashrath Maharaj, he couldn't withstand separation from Lord Ram, and he cried, and he died in separation. And Ayodhya Vasis, they were all crying, you know, Lord Ram is being sent away. So what is a lesson for us? Lord Ram is teaching us that we have to be very careful of who we hear from, who we associate with. Asat Sanga Tyag E Vaishnavachar. The devotees should absolutely avoid the association of non-devotees. We should especially not hear blasphemy, criticism of other devotees or of the Lord, because it will diminish our faith in those devotees, and it can just diminish our faith in the bhakti process altogether. So Manthara, she was appearing like a well-wisher, but she had a hidden agenda. So we have so many people in our life that appear like our well-wisher, but they actually, and they give us so many suggestions, but they end up coming between us and our actual well-wishers. So who are our actual well-wishers? Devotees, and Krishna is our actual, devotees our actual well-wishers, but the suggestions from friends and family members, so sometimes they suggest, oh, you are young right now, you don't need to be so serious in Krishna consciousness, you focus on your economic development, when you become old, you can take it more seriously at that time. So such suggestions can come, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, if I seek the path leading to the absolute truth, I must ignore the countless voices of popular wisdom, but hear from those of the self-realized souls. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying that we should hear from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. If we really are seeking the path of perfection leading back to Godhead, then we should hear only from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And especially we should not associate with those devotees who have the tendency to criticize others. Krishna says, Magjitta Madgata Pran Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayanta Shamam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. When my devotees meet, they feel great pleasure and bliss in enlightening one another and conversing about me. Krishna says they should only talk about Krishna. So that is one of the lessons. So this is one perspective, is to teach us a lesson. The second perspective is from Leela point of view. So we had demigods and sages who were very much tormented by demons. So they were praying for Lord to incarnate and kill these demons. So to facilitate the killing of the demons, Lord had to go to the forest. And for this, demigods, they employed Mother Saraswati, who sat on the tongue of Manthara, who made her speak those words to Kekai. That led to that conspiracy. Now we often regard Kekai and Manthara as evil characters, but they were actually used as instruments by the demigods to function according to the will of the Lord. And Lord Ram, he wanted personal association with so many devotees who were waiting for him in the forest. We had Shabari, Guha, Hanuman, Sugriv, and all these devotees they were waiting to have the reciprocation from the Lord. So Lord wanted to be with them. He went to the forest. And then later on, when we see that Sita is kidnapped by Ravan, Lord is, getting help from Sugriv and all these monkeys to help find Sita. Now, why do Lord need help from anyone? Lord is all powerful. He knows everything. But he wants to engage other devotees in his service so that they become purified. Also, Lord wants to glorify his devotees. He wants to give credit to his devotees. So, like Krishna made Arjuna the hero of Mahabharata. Same way, Lord Ram has made Hanuman the hero of Ramayana. Lord Ram is also showing that my devotee is even greater than me. How? Hanuman could fly across the ocean, but Lord Ram had to build the bridge across the ocean. So Lord is always trying to glorify his devotees. That is the second perspective from Leela point of view. And the third one is from spiritual point of view. So Lord Ram, he is Karuna avatar. He is showing mercy to the demigods by killing the demons. And he's showing mercy to the demons by killing them, because whoever is killed by the Lord gets liberated. And he is also showing mercy to the Ayodhya Vasis by giving them what is called Vipralambha Seva, which means love and service in separation. So what is this Vipralambha Seva? So when there is Sambhoga, there is union, the devotee, he sees the Lord face to face and he feels great joy. But when there is Viyog, there is separation. The devotee is not able to see the Lord. So he's hankering, he's crying, he's lamenting, oh, where can I see? Like the 6 Goswamis are always saying in Vrindavan, oh, where are you Radharani, and where are you son of Nanda Baba, where are you Lalita Vishakha? Like that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also crying in separation from Krishna. So this is Viyog, when devotee is seeing, is not able to see the Lord. He's separated from the Lord and he's hankering. But then in this hankering, he gets into transcendental madness, that he starts to see his Lord everywhere. So like we have the example of gopis in Ras Leela. We know that there were millions of gopis and Krishna was dancing with each single gopi. Each gopi was thinking, I am the most beautiful and the most fortunate of women, because Krishna is dancing only with me. So Krishna detected a little pride in the gopis and he left the Ras Leela. When Krishna left the Ras Leela, all the gopis, they became transcendently mad, searching for Krishna, and they started enacting Krishna's pastime. One of the gopis, she's becoming Kaliya. Another gopi is becoming Krishna and dancing on the head of that gopi. One gopi is lifting her veil, trying to, as Krishna trying to lift Govardhan. They were standing in a threefold bending form like Krishna. So they had forgotten themselves and they were thinking so much about Krishna that they were enacting Krishna's pastimes. They became transcendently mad. So when they sang the Gopi Geet, they were crying. Krishna came, and these gopis, they asked Krishna, why did you leave us? We left everything for you. We left our family, our house, and in the middle of the night we have come to you, and you left us. What kind of lover are you, Krishna? So Krishna, he responds to the gopis, the reason I don't immediately reciprocate with my devotees is because I want to intensify their loving devotion. And then they become like a poor man who has gained some wealth and then lost it. And this poor man, he becomes so anxious to get back his wealth that he can't think of anything else. So this is what Krishna is doing. When in devotion, sometimes we get some transcendental ecstasy in doing some service to Krishna, or chanting his names, or attending some retreats. We get some feeling of ecstasy and we feel great joy. But after some time, this ecstasy, we lose it. But then we keep hankering, oh, wish I get that experience back. I can feel that Krishna's presence again. We feel that. So this is called lolyam. It's called the transcendental greed. And feeling separation from the Lord. So this is what Lord Ram wants to give the Ayodhya Vasis, this feeling of separation, love in separation. And throughout Ramayana we will see that many characters who are crying, Dashrath Maharaj is crying for Lord Ram, Bharat is crying for Ram, when Sita is kidnapped, Ram is crying for Sita. Nowhere we have seen the Lord crying, but here the Lord is crying for his devotees. And Sita sitting in a Shok Vatika is crying for Ram. So the point of Ramayana is to make us also cry for the Lord. When it said that the most hard-hearted person will be filled with emotions when he reads the pastimes of Ramayana. And that is the goal of bhakti, is to develop our emotions and our bhav for the Lord. Somehow or other we should develop emotions for the Lord. We should cry for Krishna, and that is the perfection of our bhakti process. So we should all read Ramayana and pray that we develop some emotions for the Lord and cry as the characters in Ramayana are crying. So that's one perspective. And the other reason why Lord Ram was exiled is because of a promise that he had made to his devotee. One time Lakshmi ji was serving Lord Narayan, massaging his feet, and she looked very morose. So Narayan asked, "What's the problem, Devi? Why are you looking so sad?" And she said, "I'm very fortunate to serve you, but I'm very dissatisfied with my service because this Anantashesh with his millions of foods is always watching over us. We don't have any privacy. I cannot serve you in solitude, my lord." So Narayan said, "Don't worry, Devi. In Treta Yuga, when we come as Ram and Sita, we'll get a lot of opportunity. We'll be in solitude and we'll get to spend time in privacy. At that time also, Anantashesh will come in the form of Lakshman, but he will give us some space." So here Lord is making a promise. Lord fulfills all the promises that he has made. In Bhagavad Gita he has made so many promises. He will fulfill all of that. Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana paripasite. He says that if my devotee is totally dedicated to me, I will carry what he lacks. I will preserve what he has. Right? That so Krishna fulfills all his promises. That's one of the perspectives. So now Ram is called Maryada Purushottam. We know that Krishna is called Leela, is called Maryada Purushottam because he is teaching, for example, how to be an ideal husband, ideal son, ideal brother, like that. So we can learn from Lord Ram's response of when he was sent, he was being sent to the forest for exile. On the king of Ayodhya, Kekai had this whole thing, and Dashrath asked his son to go to the forest. So what is the response of Lord Ram? We can learn from his response. So when Ram hears that he has to go to the forest, he goes to Kekai to bring down her animosity and her anger. So Ram says to Kekai, "I had always considered you as my mother, and I thought that you also considered me as your son. But today, I'm very sad to know that you didn't consider me as your son." So Kekai, she thinks that she was expecting this type of a question from Ram because of her unfairness in dealing Ram. She was preparing to counter reply to Ram's question. But then Ram said, "Well, if you had accepted me as your son, you would have come directly to me. Why did you have to go to my father and ask for those 2 boons? You would have come directly to me. I would have given you the kingdom without asking any questions. I'm sorry to know that you didn't consider me as your son." And then he says that, "Well, to fulfill your words, I will at once go to the forest, and please give me your blessings." So here is a phenomenal response from Lord Ram. He is exemplifying someone who is a dhira. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Yam hina vethayante te purusham purushashava sama dukha sukha dhiram so amritatvaya kalpate." Krishna says, one who is not disturbed in happiness and distress, and he's steady in all types of situations, he's a dhira. So Ram, we see, he felt no resentment, no anger towards Kekai. So lesson for us is that, sometimes things may not happen in our life according to our plan. So what we should do is we should surrender to the plans of Lord. Thinking that, I am a sincere devotee trying to practice Krishna consciousness very sincerely. So whatever Krishna is doing in my life is all perfect. Krishna is all perfect, and his plans for me are also best for me. So now that this situation has arisen in my life, how I can use this situation to get closer to Krishna, right? So devotees, as we say, is that they convert their misfortune into fortune. So, Srila Prabhupada, initially he was trying to set up his business, pharmaceutical business. An astrologer had told him that he would become the richest person in India. So he wanted to build a big business to fulfill his Guru Maharaj's order, and he wanted to build many temples in India. So that was his plan. But what was Krishna's plan? Krishna's plan was something different. Now his business actually failed miserably, and he didn't have money to pay his employees. Even to purchase a bus ticket, he had to borrow money from his friends. But what was Prabhupada's consciousness in that situation? Now Prabhupada said that he has received special mercy from Krishna. He recited this verse from Bhagavatam. This verse says, Yasyaham anugranami harishye tad dhanam shinay tato dhanam tejante asya swajana dukha dukhitam. Where Krishna is saying that if I especially favor someone, I will deprive him of wealth. All his family members, his relatives will leave him, and he will suffer one distress after another. And this is Krishna's special mercy. Why? Because he wants to purify his devotees. He wants to remove the last vestiges of the enjoying spirit from the hearts of his devotees. And he wants his devotees to completely take shelter of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada, he had this consciousness that this is Krishna's special mercy for me. And Srila Prabhupada's family was not cooperating. So he said, now is the time for me to take to full-time preaching and fulfill my Guru Maharaj's order to preach in the West. He took sannyas, he came to the West, and so many things came up from that. We have ISKCON temples, we have books, and our lives have changed. So many people's lives have changed because of that one, the Prabhupada's consciousness of converting his misfortune into fortune. So that's what we can learn from Lord Ram's response. And then we have Lakshman. What we can learn from Lakshman is how he demonstrates unconditional surrender to Lord Ram. So we know that, Lord Ram, Lakshman, he chose to accompany Lord Ram to the forest. Now Lakshman doesn't think that Lord Ram is taking his wife to the forest. Let me take my wife also to the forest. No. He's going to the forest to be a menial servant of Lord Ram. And at Chitrakoot we see that Sita and Ram, they're roaming about in the forest. And what is Lakshman doing? He's always busy. He's cutting the grass, building the hut, clearing the stones, killing demons. Day and night he's busy serving Ram and Sita. And Lakshman, he took a vow that he would not sleep for all 14 years, and serve the Lord day and night. And one time when Shurpanakha came to Lord Ram, attracted by his beauty, he wanted to marry Lord Ram. But Lord Ram says, I'm Ekapatni Vrata. I've taken a vow to marry only one wife. You go to Lakshman, he's single, you marry him. But Lakshman says to Shurpanakha, do you want to be a queen or do you want to be a dasii? I am a das, I'm a servant. So if you marry me, you will be a dasii. So you go back to Ram. So then Lakshman sent her back to Ram, and Ram sent her back to Lakshman. So it was like a ping pong ball, Shurpanakha. But then Shurpanakha got angry and she attacked Sita. And Ram said to Lakshman, take care of this. And then Lakshman at once performed the ENT surgery. He cut off her ear and nose. And later when we see that, when Sita gets attracted to the deer, and deer is the demon Marich, and Lord Ram runs after Marich, and he kills Marich with his arrow. And the last thing that Marich does before dying, he calls out for help in the voice of Ram. Lakshman, help me. So Mother Sita hears that, and she thinks that Lord Ram is in danger, and she tells Lakshman that your brother is in danger, you go. And Lakshman says, my dear mother, there is nobody born in the creation of Brahma who can challenge Lord Ram. Don't worry. But Mother Sita says, no, your brother is in danger. And then she speaks some harsh words to Lakshman. She says, I know, Lakshman, you have been serving all this while, all these 13 years, just to find that time that I am alone, so you can enjoy me. Is that why you're not going to save your brother? So her sharp words hurt Lakshman very much. So Lakshman, what he did, he paid obeisances to Mother Sita. He drew the Lakshman Rekha and he went to see Lord Ram. And when Lord Ram is returning after killing Marich, he sees Lakshman and he starts chastising Lakshman. Lakshman, what are you doing here? You left Sita all alone. And then when they go there, Sita is missing. So Ram is very angry and he's blaming Lakshman. It's all your fault that Sita is missing. So we see that Lakshman situation here. Mother Sita is blaming Lakshman for his character. And here is Lord Ram who is blaming Lakshman for his competency. So imagine you are in a situation where you have left a kingdom which you are not supposed to leave. You have left a wife you are not supposed to leave for a brother who you have served so menially for 13 years that you have not had a minute of sleep. And that Lord Ram, he doubts your, Mother Sita is doubting his character, and Lord Ram is doubting his ability. So Lakshman, what is more there for Lakshman to continue his service? But we see that Lakshman still continues his service. He doesn't say, enough of this husband-wife business, I'm going back to Ayodhya. Enough. But he doesn't say that. In fact, he continues his service and he improves and intensifies his service. So when Lord Ram, he has lost himself, when he's crying for Mother Sita, Lakshman acts as a counselor for Lord Ram. He suggests ways of how, the steps that we can take to find Mother Sita. He doesn't leave Lord Ram. So then, and also we see that, when Sita Devi was taken by Ravan, going through the Pushpak Viman, she was dropping her ornaments down. And these ornaments were picked up by the monkeys, Sugriv and all. And they brought these ornaments to Lord Ram to see if these ornaments belong to Sita. But Lord Ram is saying, I don't want to see these ornaments. Just to think that they may belong to Sita, it's breaking my heart. So Lakshman, you see these ornaments. See if they are Sita's ornaments. So that time Lakshman says a very, heart-wrenching verse. He says, Naham janami keyure, naham janami kundale, nupure dvabhijanami, nityam padavi vandanat. Lakshman is saying, my Lord, I don't recognize these necklaces or these earrings or these armlets. But my Lord, I recognize these anklets, ankle bells, because my Lord, I have not seen Mother Sita above her ankles. I've always worshipped her lotus feet. I have not seen her above her lotus feet. So this is the integrity of Lakshman. How many reasons were there for Lakshman to leave the service of Lord Ram? But he doesn't. So Prabhupada says, sometimes we will be misunderstood. There will be misunderstanding between devotees. And sometimes we may be criticized, dishonored, while there may not be any fault of ours. Sometimes we may have luxury, and while sometimes we have to live very austerely. So we should be such that external circumstances should not matter at all. What matters is our service to our Lord should not stop for any reason. In one letter to Hansadutta, Prabhupada writes, devotee means he is able to tolerate all kinds of discomforts and whims of material nature, and because he is so much absorbed in his service to Krishna that he takes no time to become angry or take an offense with others or find out some fault. So we should be so absorbed in our services to Krishna one after another that we don't have time to think, oh, this devotee said this to me, or they are telling, some people have offended me. We don't have any time to find some fault in others also. So one time somebody asked Jayananda Prabhu. Jayananda Prabhu was building Rath Yatra carts, helping Prabhupada build the Rath Yatra festival. So somebody asked Jayananda Prabhu, how did you become so advanced? He said, I don't know. I'm too busy working to think about it. I don't know how I became advanced. I'm so busy in my services, I don't have time to think about it. So that's what we should be. We should be busy in our services to Krishna. One time, so many devotees were bound down to Prabhupada. And one disciple of Prabhupada asked, why is everybody bound down to you? And Prabhupada says, because I have conquered lust. And then he says, no, it's not that I don't have lust. I don't have time for lust. So of course Prabhupada has no lust, but he's teaching us because he's coming to our level. We have all these anarthas within us. But we should be so much absorbed in our services to Krishna that we have no time for these anarthas. Right? So this is, we can learn from Lakshman, unconditional surrender to the Lord and being absorbed in his services to the Lord. So the next lesson we can learn is, we see how in Lanka, in Ashok Vatika, uh, Ravan is trying to impress Mother Sita by giving her, different temptations, trying different techniques to coax her to accept his proposal. So Ravan is telling Mother Sita, I will make you the principal queen of Lanka. You will enjoy so many pleasures. Oh Sita, you're so beautiful. You're not realizing how time is passing away. Your youth is fading. I have unmatched power, unmatched vitality. You please accept all these valuable gifts that I've got for you and forget Ram. He cannot even find you, let alone to rescue you. You submit to me and you will enjoy the pleasures of heaven. So like that, Ravan is trying to entice Mother Sita. But Sita, she is ignoring everything that Ravan is saying. She is shouting at Ravan. She's saying, oh, these petty gifts, Ravan, these cannot impress me. Being conquered by Lord Ram's personality, I cannot be tempted by any of these things. Like sunlight is inseparable from sun, Mother Sita is inseparable from Lord Ram. So like that, Sita is always remembering Lord. And we know that Ravan couldn't forcibly enjoy Sita because Ravan had been cursed. Actually, Ravan had a total of 18 curses that he had gotten from different people, like Vedavati, Nalkuvera, Ashtavakra Muni, and so many other people had cursed him. So one devotee was saying that when we accumulate curses in life, we cause tears to other people, and these tears at one time will create an ocean that will drown us. So life should not be a collection of curses. Life should be a collection of blessings. So Ravan, he knew that he cannot forcibly enjoy Sita. But Ravan, he was so charming, he was so attractive, that whichever woman that he proposed, immediately the woman, they would accept him. They couldn't resist him. So that's because of his charming power. And that's why Ravan's palace was filled with women. But Mother Sita here exemplifies a strong devotee. A devotee who is totally attached to the Lord, who is chaste to the Lord. So one devotee was saying that the kanthimala that we wear is our Mangal Sutra, and the tilak that we wear is our sindoor. So in that way, our husband is Lord Krishna. Krishna is our husband. Krishna is the only Purusha. He's the husband of everyone. Krishna is the only Purusha, the only enjoyer. Rest everybody of us is a Prakriti, female, to be enjoyed by Krishna. So Ravan here represents all types of sense gratificatory desires that Maya is proposing us. So many distractions in this material world. Temptations in this world are like this Ravan trying to, tempt us, saying that time is going away, your youth is fading away, now is the time to enjoy. But devotee is like Sita saying, no to all these temptations. No, I want to remain chaste to my Lord. That you, all these things, you are not at all comparable to my Lord. I can give up anything for my Lord Krishna. And to get Krishna, I can give anything. So this is the mentality of a strong devotee. Devotee is always thinking about the Lord. His mind is always fixed on the Lord. Ananya cheta satatam yomam smarati nityasha tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoginam. Krishna says, one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain. And so every moment the devotee is Devasatmika Buddhi. His goal is fixed. This life, I want to give this life to Krishna. My goal is to go back home, back to Godhead. And I will not allow anything in this world to disrupt this goal of mine. So every choice that he makes, we say between B and D there is C. What does it mean? Between birth and death, there is C, there is choice. Every moment is a choice that we are making. So the choice is whether we'll choose Ravan or we'll choose Ram. All the temptations, any pratikul activities that we do in bhakti, Atyahara Priyashascha Prajalpo Niyamagraha. Rupa Goswami says nectar of instruction, breaking four regulative principles, associating with non-devotees, over-endeavoring, over-accumulating, being greedy. All these pratikul activities, when we are doing, we are choosing Ravana over Ram. Right? So devotee should have, he should have a spiritual strength to make the right choices. We say there are 3 Ds. There is discrimination, there is determination, and then there is discipline. So we need to build this spiritual strength to make the right choices in life. And how does it come about? Daily, getting up early in the morning, chanting our 16 rounds very nicely, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with an so we see that Ram, he doesn't come face to face with Vali. He kills Vali by hitting his arrow from behind the tree. Because Vali in Ramayana represents temptation. Vali had a benediction that whoever will come face to face with Vali, he would lose 50% of his strength. Even though opponent may be very strong. So let's say the opponent is very strong. He is like 100 strength. And Vali is like 1 strength of 1. Which means the opponent is very strong, stronger than Vali. But when he would come face to face with Vali, the opponent will lose 50% of his strength. Which means the opponent will become of strength 50. And Vali will become of strength 51, which means that Vali will always emerge as a winner. So this is showing that when we come face to face with temptations, we will fall weak. Even though we may be a strong devotee, we should try not to come face to face with temptations. Every one of us have different temptations, that make our consciousness fall down. We should first analyze what are the things that make our consciousness falls down, and then, for example, somebody may be, maybe drinking previously, but then he should not go in the association of his friends who are drinking, thinking that, no, I am a strong devotee, I will not drink, I have given up drinking. No, that association will make him fall down to his bad habits again. So we say that, devotees, they fall down because of overconfidence. Because they are confident that, they have strength, they have a full belief in their own strength. So we should think that we are very weak. So we are very susceptible. So we should fear such association, fear such situations where we can fall down. So this we can learn from this example of Lord Ram killing Vali from hiding behind a tree. And we have the example of Shabri. Shabri was a tribal woman, but she had full faith in her guru, Matanga Rishi. When Matanga Rishi was departing from this world, Matanga Rishi says, Shabri, you stay in this ashram at Pampa Sarovar. Once Lord Ram and Lakshman would come, and you will get to serve them, and that would be the perfection of your life. He told Shabri. And Shabri was a very young girl at that time. So now, Shabri, every day she would get up in the morning and think that Lord Ram and Lakshman will come today. So she would start cleaning the ashram, and she will pick nice berries for Lord Ram, and she will make nice plates and mats for Lord Ram. So every day she was doing that. Many thousands of years passed, but she remained consistent. And now Shabri became a very old woman, but never was there a time when she missed one day in preparing her ashram to welcome Lord Ram. And then one time Lord Ram and Lakshman came to give the blessings to Shabri, and then getting their blessings she returned back home, back to Godhead. Because pure devotional service attracts Lord. We say pure devotional service is Sri Krishna Akarshini. So Lord Ram and Lakshman, they were attracted by the purity of Shabri and her consistency in her devotional service. So now, like Shabri, we have also received instructions from our Guru. So we should be consistent in following our sadhana and performing our sadhana. Every day we should get up. In the morning, chant our rounds, read Srimad Bhagavatam, do our deity worship, knowing that one day Lord Ram would come, and it may be today. Like we say, death can come at any time. Krishna is saying that he is coming as death. We should be ready, that our consciousness should be prepared. We should be all pure today, that if death comes today, I'm ready to go back home, back to Godhead. Right? And also we learn from Shabri that we need to be patient. Although we may not see results, when we perform devotional service, we may not see results, we may not be getting taste in bhakti, but still we should be patient in consistently performing our sadhana. One devotee was saying that, enthusiasm, if it is without patience, is actually mode of passion. And patience without enthusiasm is mode of ignorance. So Shabri is showing that we need to be enthusiastic, we need to be patient, and Rupa Goswami says determination also. It's utsaha, nishchaya, dharya. 3 things that we need. Then we will get the same blessings as Shabri. Lord will come to get us, when our time comes. So that's what we learn from Shabri: enthusiasm, patience, and determination. And then we have the example of Vibhishan. Vibhishan was the younger brother of Lord Ram. And Vibhishan, he left Ravan. He was a younger brother of Ravan. And he left Ravan to come join Ram's army. And then, when he came, all the monkeys, they were doubting him. They were saying that he is a spy of Ravan. We should kill him and we should capture him. So Lord Ram asked Hanuman, what do you think, Hanuman, about Vibhishan? And Hanuman says, well, Vibhishan, he has come to surrender to you, Lord. And when I was in Lanka, he was the only one who was telling Ram to not kill me. And he was telling Ravan to return Sita back to you. And his was the only house I did not burn, because only his house has Tulsi. So I burned the whole of Lanka except for his house. So my Lord Vibhishan is your devotee, please accept him. So Ram says, yes, I will accept Vibhishan. And even if Ravan comes, I will accept him. Even if Ravan comes and surrenders to me, I will accept him. So Lord Ram, he says this verse in Ramayana, and this is the topmost verse in Bhakti literature. It says, Sakradeva Panno yastavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. Lord Ram is saying that it is my vow that if one comes even once and bows down before me and says, my Lord, from this day on I am yours, please accept me. And I will accept him, and I will grant him fearlessness, and he will remain safe from that time on. So even if we have done so many sins in our past, we have offended Krishna, so many offended devotees, if we come to Lord Ram and bow down to him and say, Lord, from this day on I'm yours, I will not commit any of these sins ever again, Lord Ram will accept us. And Ram, he got very ecstatic. He says, not only I accept Vibhishan, I make him the king of Lanka. And even if Ravan comes, I make him the king. So monkeys say, what? You're making Vibhishan the king of Lanka, and which kingdom would you give Ravan if he comes? And Ram says, I'll make him the king of Ayodhya. I will make Ravan the king of Ayodhya. And the monkey is saying, well, you've already made Bharat the king of Ayodhya, where will Bharat go then? And says, I will make Bharat the king of Vaikuntha. So then they said, my Lord, but you are the Lord of Vaikuntha, where would you go then if you make Bharat the king of Vaikuntha? He says that I will simply rule and live in the hearts of my devotees. Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam tvaham. The devotees are always in my heart, Krishna says, and I am in the hearts of my devotees. Lord Ram just wants to stay in the hearts of his devotees. That is the culture of Ram. His culture is to care and share, while Ravan's culture was opposite, is to use and throw. So in this pastime we see that Ravan, who had the home ground advantage when there was a war happening in Lanka between Ravan's army and Ram's army. Who had the home ground advantage? Ravan had the home ground advantage. Monkeys were coming from very far away from Kishkinda. Who had sophisticated weapons to fight? Ravan. Monkeys, they were fighting with like rocks and trees and mountain tops. Who were more in quantity? Ravan's army was more in quantity. And how long had the monkeys known Ram? Very short time. And how long did the Ravan soldiers know Ravan? Pretty much their whole lifetime. What was Ravan giving his soldiers in return to their service? He was giving them nice sense gratification, nice houses to live and liquor. What was Ram giving the monkeys in return to their service? Nothing. Because Ram had nothing. But still we see who won the war. Ram's army. Ram won the war. Why? Because Ram's culture is to care and share. So we see that at the end of the day, what Ravan would do was, any of his Rakshas soldiers that had died, he would throw those dead bodies of Rakshas soldiers into the ocean. Because he was thinking that, if the monkey army, next morning, if the monkey army sees these dead Rakshasa soldiers, they will think, oh wow, we have killed so many. But if they don't see any dead Rakshasa soldiers, they will be demoralized. So that's what his thinking was. So his policy was use and throw. And what was Ram doing? At the end of the day, all these monkeys that had been killed, Ram was performing their last rites. Or if they were injured, Ram was putting medicines on them. He was praying for benedictions to heal them. And we also see that, Ram, where was Ram throughout the war? He was with the monkeys. He was eating and sleeping with them, fighting at the forefront of the war. He was there. Where was Ravan during the war? He was in his kingdom. He was sending other soldiers to fight, like Kumbhakaran and Indrajit. He was sending other demons to fight. He was nicely, sitting in his palace. So that's what the difference that we see between Ravan and Ram. So now, what material wealth did Srila Prabhupada have when he came to America and he started ISKCON? Pretty much nothing. Yet so many glorious young Americans joined Prabhupada's army, and Prabhupada would call them his dancing white elephants, or his monkey soldiers, he would call them. And what did Prabhupada give them materially? Nothing. But they gave up everything for Srila Prabhupada. They gave up their family, their youth, their degrees to come join forces with Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because they saw that Srila Prabhupada deeply cared for them. He had no ulterior motive but pure love for them. So this is the quality that attracted the young Americans to join Srila Prabhupada. So when he was, when Prabhupada was sick towards the end of his pastime here in the material world, he still, he himself was reduced to skin and bones in a very critical condition, but he wanted to make sure that all the devotees, they were getting nice prasadam. So one devotee, he writes in his memory that this devotee was limping because he had a boil in his leg. And Prabhupada, he was critically ill. And this was few days before Prabhupada would leave the material world. And Prabhupada, he noticed this devotee limping. And Prabhupada says, what's the problem? And and then Prabhupada is suggesting you should apply neem and haldi paste. And he's asking other devotees to take care of this devotee. And the next day he sees this devotee. He says, how are you doing? How is your leg? So this devotee was so amazed. He was thinking, well, Srila Prabhupada, he himself is going through a health crisis, but he's worried about my boil in my leg. So this is the quality of Srila Prabhupada and the quality of Lord Ram that attracted everyone to them. So this is real preaching. Real preaching means to show care. Like there's one phrase which says, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. If we want to transform people's life, we have to touch their hearts by showing our care, our love for them. And if we love everyone, automatically everybody will love us and they will try to follow what we are telling them. So this is what we can learn from Ravan's culture and Ram's culture. And of course we know that Lord Ram, he couldn't give anything back to the monkeys at that time because he didn't have anything, but Ram doesn't forget anything that we have done for him. So what happened in the next yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Lord Ram comes as Krishna, and those monkeys that helped unite Mother Sita and Ram, they are coming monkeys in Vrindavan, and we see that Krishna, he's feeding the monkeys butter with his own loving hands, because Lord never forgets any service that we do for him. Even if nobody notices what service we are doing, rest assured, our Guru Maharaj and Krishna are noticing what we are doing. One holy name that we have chanted, Krishna will never forget. So we are close to ending, but I will move on to the next. The whole Ramayana is actually an analogy how Mother Sita, she gets attracted to the golden deer. Like the conditioned souls, we get attracted to so many golden things of this world. So when we get attracted to material things, Lord leaves us. Like how Lord Ram left Mother Sita. So we, chasing after material things of this world, we become separated from our Lord. But when we are separated from our Lord, who was with Sita? Lakshman was there. We are still with devotees when Lord has left us. But then when we come to the point of committing Vaishnava Aparadh, like we heard that Mother Sita said some harsh words to Lakshman. When we commit Vaishnava Aparadh, even devotees will leave us. But devotees, when they leave us, they leave the instructions with us. Lakshman made the Lakshman Rekha and told Sita to not cross this Lakshman Rekha. But then when we are all alone in this forest of this material world, we don't have the power of discrimination, we don't have spiritual strength, and we don't follow the instructions of the devotees have given us, and we step outside our boundaries, and what happens is Ravan comes and he cheats us. Means all the distractions of this world, temptations of this world, they cheat us and they take us to the forest of Ashok Vatika. Ashok means no distress, but that garden was the cause of greatest distress for Mother Sita. She was all crying in that forest. So we are taken to this forest of sorrow. But even then, when we remember the Lord, at that time also, Lord will send Guru in our life, like Lord sent Hanuman in the life to Mother Sita. And when Hanuman came, he did three things. He spoke Ram Katha, he answered the questions of Sita, and he gave her the ring of the Lord. So when we are suffering in this material world, we are sincerely desiring to be back with our Lord. And Lord would send Guru in our life, and Guru will do these three things. He will speak Krishna Katha, and he will answer our questions, remove our doubts, and he will give us the ring of the Lord. What is that ring? The ring of the holy name. So Prabhupada has come in our life as a Guru. He gave us Krishna Katha, he answered our questions, and he gave us the ring of the holy name. And we also see that, there is a character of Jambavan. Hanuman had forgotten his powers because of some, when he was young, he got a curse from the sages because he was very naughty. So he had forgotten his powers. So Jambavan reminded Hanuman of his powers. So Jambavan in this story is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who empowered Srila Prabhupada, who gave him the, who asked him to, jump across the ocean and come to the Lanka of America to distribute this holy name, the ring of the Lord. He gave the ring of the Lord to every one of us. And then he engaged all of us like the monkeys in Lord Ram's army, to unite the conditioned souls who have become separated from their Lord back with the Lord. So this is the whole analogy. Sita being separated from Ram is an analogy of us conditioned souls being separated from our Lord, and Guru coming in our life and giving us the ring of the holy name. And we know that the power of the holy name, who wrote Ramayana? Daku Ratnakar, who was so sinful, killing and robbing people. He came to the point of being Valmiki Muni because under the instructions of his Guru Narad Muni, he chanted the name of Ram. Well, earlier he was not able to chant the name of Ram because he was so offensive. Narad Muni told him to chant the name of Ram, but he couldn't chant. So what Narad Muni, he's a great preacher. He didn't give up on Daku Ratnakar. He said, okay, you're not able to chant the name of Ram, you chant Mara instead. And he chanted Mara, Ram, Ram, Mara, Mara, Ram, Ram. It became Ram, 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 and 60,000 years. Daku Ratnakar, he's chanting Ram, Ram, and he chanted Shuddha Nam. And then he was revealed all the pastimes of the Lord. So when we chant the name of Krishna, Hare Krishna mantra, from name will come Rupa, Guna and Leela. The form of the Lord will be revealed to us. His beautiful qualities, His pastimes, all will be revealed to us. And the demons within our heart. So Ravan resides within our heart. Ravan represents lust. When we chant the holy name, Hare Krishna mantra, it will destroy the demon within our heart. Monkeys were also writing the name of Ram on the stones, and the stones were floating in the ocean. If we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we'll float across this ocean of material world. Otherwise, if we don't chant, we'll drown in this ocean of suffering. And then we know one character in Ramayana, Hanuman, he's always chanting the name of Ram. What is his quality that makes him chant the name of Ram? So we see that, Mother Sita is asking Hanuman that you flew across this ocean. You must be as powerful as Garuda or Vayu. So, Hanuman in his humility is saying that there is in the entire monkey army, there is not even one monkey who is less than me in abilities. Actually, all the monkeys are greater to me in abilities, and he's glorifying the monkey's qualities, and he's saying that Lord Ram has picked me because he considers me the lowest in his army and fit as a messenger, because no king wants to risk his most competent men. So we can see that Hanuman's humility is there. He's considering himself the lowest, Trinadapi Sunichena, always seeing good qualities in others, how I can learn from others. And then Mother Sita says, "Oh, I have seen you change size, Hanuman. What is your real size?" And Hanuman is saying, "I am always small, but by God's grace, I can become bigger in size. God's power is great. I can grow big by taking shelter in Him." So Hanuman, he knows that all the powers and all the abilities that he has is coming from Lord Ram. I am but a nimitta matra in His hand, instrument in His hand. So if we surrender to the Lord, surrender to the holy name of the Lord, knowing ourselves the lowest, we should know that we have no abilities and powers, but if Lord wants, He can do great things through us if we become an instrument in His hand. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he was coming to America through the Jaladuta, he was saying, "Oh Lord, I am like a puppet in your hands. You make me dance as you like. I have no devotion, no knowledge, but I have faith in your holy name. You make my power of speech suitable for their understanding, so their suffering can be eliminated," like that. So we can learn from Hanuman, Srila Prabhupada, how to be humble and always surrender to the Lord's holy names, so that He can use us as an instrument to do great things. So I'll stop here. And if anybody has questions and comments, you can ask. Thank you, everyone. Yes.
So, in the middle of the class, you were saying that we should not associate with non-devotees, and you gave the example of people who are drunkards, having different habits, really can go on. And then just before the end of the class, you said we have to be care and share. So the only care and share only applies to the devotees, so it doesn't apply to non-devotees?
No, we should care for them. So we should be strong enough to go into that association. We should do our sadhana nicely, and then when we associate with them, we should not take association. We should give them association. We should show them care. Well, unless Prabhupada was also associating with these drunkards and all, and they made them into devotees. And we want to make everybody, help everybody. But we have to be strong enough. Like we have to have. So if we go into a zone where there's a lot of infectious disease going on, we have to be vaccinated first. We have to be strong enough. Before helping others who are drowning, we have to learn swimming. So we have to be strong in our sadhana to go into that association, to make sure that we are not affected by that association. That's what.
Just what?
Yeah. Yes.
So at the beginning of the lecture, you mentioned two ways of doing sadhana. One is Vipralamha, another is Lalyam. So sometimes we hear the term "take it till you make it." Then these two things we take till we make it there.
Yes. We should behave like one devotee was saying, we should behave like a humble person until we develop that humility. We should behave tolerant.
About the I'm saying
Bhav.
Vipralam Bhav and Lalyam.
We should not do it as a show off to others. We should we should try to invoke emotions in any way that we can do. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshyat. Try any way that you can build emotions for Lord Ram, but that should not be done as a way to show off to others that I am an elevated devotee. Okay, we can stop here. Thank you.
Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai.